Now then guys, we're back for another podcast. Not so much a series starting or anything like that, just a general podcast. Sort of last one was a couple of weeks ago now, so we've been a bit hit and miss with them. Again, mainly just looking for the best content to provide, so I've been researching topics, what to produce, what not to produce, asking a lot of questions, so I've got a lot of topics that you've been asking me to do, so I've got a couple of collaborations, one coming this weekend actually, so hopefully a lot more podcasts to come out, because like I said, the feedback on them is really good. Sort of like general responses, the questions, the views, the analytics side of it is really well, so and it's just something that I generally enjoy. I feel I'm a lot more fluent in terms of getting a point across and getting a message across as opposed to YouTube. So yeah, a couple of topics to cover today. So what I'll do in the bio is I'll put sort of like timestamps. I won't have exact times, but I've got a couple of topics I want to talk about and I'll go through them. Give you a bit of an update on me so far. So currently going away for a week, that'll be next week. More than likely take the week off training, sort of reset mentally, physically. Then the week after, that's when we drop the hammer, we start that cut, we're going to dieting phase, which I am beyond looking forward to. Because like I mentioned in a post yesterday on my social media, is that I've just came out of a massive push-up phase, so I've built the strong foundations now. So for a good, we're talking three years, something like that, I've been literally just bulking, it's literally just been surplus, literally just eating, lifting. So for me to sort of like flip that on its head and go into a different phase, it's going into the unknown, it's something that I quite like. Not so much intimidating, but out of my comfort zone, so I'm interested to challenge myself and see what I can bring from that. But yeah, that sort of starts as soon as I get back from this little breakaway. I'm looking at vlogging the whole little breakaways thing as well. Like I said, I've been really productive today, so this is a podcast day, YouTube this morning, so hopefully looking to vlog the thing next week. So basically all I'm getting at is just more content for you guys, really. That's the main aim. PT, online coaching, all going well. Online coaching, updating sheets, stuff like that, so slots are very limited at the moment, just so I can refine my service. As soon as that's done, slots are going to be out and ready. So I had a couple of people asking about availability and stuff like that. Merch will be coming, got some samples coming in about 2 weeks time. Because like I said, the thing with merchandise, there's no point. I could easily just bring something in and sell it out for overpriced to make profit, but one, that's just going to be a load of shit. It's going to rip you off. It's not going to create any value, and it's just going to, that's not me really. So I've got some samples coming in, I'll see what they look like. If they go ahead, I'll sort of make a bulk order, I'll start distributing them, giving them out to clients, putting them up for sale on the website, and so forth. But yeah, starting off with the first topic, so it's not so much following, like a set series of events. Some are different, some linked together. The first one I want to talk about is stress, and in terms of reducing it. Now stress, that sort of comes under like the mindset package sort of thing, and I found when I've struggled myself, when I've seen other people struggle themselves, it's a huge, it may seem little to some if you're a chill person, but it can be a huge factor within your training, because if you're not switched on mentally, you're very, very limited to what you can achieve physically. There's very few people, almost like freaks of natures, that can just get on with stuff no matter what they're feeling. A lot of general people, if they're not feeling it mentally upstairs, they're going to struggle physically. So stress is something that we definitely need to be controlling and monitoring and working on reducing as much as possible. Now you got to remember, we're all human. I'm human, you're human listening to this. You've got a job. I'm not sure what you do. You could be an accountant, a teacher, an online coach yourself. So a lot of those jobs and a lot of general day-to-day basis things bring a lot of stress that can put a lot of pressure on you, which isn't what we want. So in terms of reducing it, that's going to see drastic improvements within your training, your overall mood, which means you can only bring better performance within the gym and approach your day-to-day tasks on a better, more productive basis, which, again, I'm not going to follow a big chain of events, but the more productivity you can do, the more opportunities you can create for yourself, and with that will come more success, which we all want, right, don't we? So in terms of reducing it, there's plenty of things you can take into mind. Rest and recovery is always going to be the best one. You can forget about all these supplements. There's no fancy pill just going to automatically make you feel alright upstairs. You need to be resting, you need to be recovering, you need to be having some downtime. This is primarily why I've booked this trip away, because like I say, a lot of stress, a lot of mental and physical demand from my job, from my career, pressure that I put on myself to succeed. So by having this week away, I'm now able to sort of, lighten the load a bit and just relax for a bit. So rest and recovery is vitally important. Sleep sort of comes under this as well. So we're talking 8 to 10 hours. If you're getting home late, I'm in a job where I do get home late and I'm up straight early. You've just got to accept what you can and make the most out of what you've got. So if you're only getting 4 hours, I want you to utilise those 4 hours to the literal minute. Tracking your sleep, something that I'm only sort of months into doing, but using sleep apps, honestly I can't recommend it enough. You almost like I say, I like everything being productive, I like challenging myself. So the aim is to I want to get 100% on my sleep app. So to do that, I've got to rest more, which is going to benefit me more. So it's a series of positive events. You see where I'm going with this. You've got stuff like eating right as well. You don't want to be eating bad food, stuff like sugars, refined sugars, stuff like that is just going to, what goes up must come down. So stuff like refined foods, eating junk, eating takeaway, it's not going to do good in your skin, it's not going to do well in your sleep, not going to do well in your digestive system. Food intake plays a very important part in stress, and it's funny I say that, almost not so much hypocritical, but as a byproduct of being stressed, most people's go-to source is junk food. Say if somebody's just been broken up with, they've just lost their job, they usually go to stress eating or comfort eating, which is, your shitty foods, which I know is going to be hard to take in, but ideally I want to sort of still stay productive, still stay with the clean foods. We don't want to let that guard slip to create a window for bad stuff to happen to us. We've got food, we've got rest. Then once we've got those nailed, once we've got the fundamentals nailed, we want to be then looking in supplements if you're still struggling. So we've got stuff like CBD oil, we've got nootropic formulas. That's sort of when you're waking up, and it sort of awakens you mentally. You've got supplements like ashwagandha, green tea, all these little supplements. You take them in small dosages, and what they do is it's sort of like a relaxation supplement. The more relaxed you are, the more at ease you are mentally. Once you're at ease, you can literally just drift off nice and easy. When it comes to actual getting to sleep and you're just getting down to it, I've found that listening to music helps. So classical, you get people that like whale noises, you've got when I've been looking through playlists and stuff like that, you've got sounds of the tropical, rain falling down, stuff like that. The main aim is I want you to be as relaxed as possible, so take whatever steps you can do, but nail the basics first. These supplements don't come cheap. We're talking CBD oil, the proper stuff, 50, 60 a pop. If you can get a discount, maybe cheaper. Why should you have to spend that £60 when that 60 could go on good food and you could be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep? Yeah? Last one would be phone time. Phones emit blue light, which isn't the best for us. It can sort of it wakes us up more, therefore the more awake we are, we're reducing the rate of falling asleep. So stuff like blue light blockers, you may have seen a lot of them if you're following Instagram. A lot of influencers and athletes are using them. But yeah, stuff like that. Try reduce phone time drastically, sort of 6 p.m. and late into the evening, sort of an hour or two before bedtime. That way again, we're just reducing that mental state, becoming more relaxed. So we'll leave it at that for stress reduction. But like I say, if you're going to take anything away from that, just remember to nail the basics, the same as with training and nutrition. There's no escaping the basics. But yeah, that leads me on to my next topic, which again, somewhat different now to stress, but I want to talk about sets and reps and how much to do and what is too much. Reason for sort of doing that is, one, as a PT, I'm constantly reminded how much sets and reps, how much rest, and even online and stuff like that, when you're programming clients and stuff like that, I see a lot of other trainers struggling with it as well. And when it comes to how much sets and reps, individuality, again, something that these big, these Insta models and fucking shite companies, they miss out on. It's individuality. How much sets and reps you do depends on the goal in mind. So essentially, if you're an athlete, you're going to be either in a dieting phase or a gaining phase, and with that comes you've got your deficit or your surplus. That's the nutrition side of it, pushed to one side. Sets and reps, you want to program it in terms of volume and intensity. So first off, take intensity. We've got intensity on the side there. I want you to put that sky high. Intensity is always high, no matter what amount of training. The sets and reps goes under the volume. So we either have low volume or high volume. High volume is less of an RPE, so picture it out of 10. 10 is hard, 1 is easy. Higher volume would generally be working at a lower RPE, Not talking 2 or 3 where you're pissing through it, but generally lower. So what that does is that sort of creates an opportunity to get more reps out, create more of a metabolic stress effect sort of thing. We then have low volume. Low volume again, take that high intensity, I want you to bump it right up top. Intensity needs to be high, you do not want to be breezing through this, especially low volume. So low volume is more taking a higher RPE. Obviously with that higher RPE comes more effort, which is going to be more weight to move. Now like I say, usually these two fall into 2 separate different categories, but with the low volume, how I program that and how a lot of people program that is a top set and a back off set. And I found that of all my training, of GVT, of bro split sets, of 3x10, this low volume with a back off set and a top set works really, really well for me. It works well for a lot of other people as well. So the top set is usually like a high RPE, and we're working at say reps of 4 to 6, something like that. Those 4 to 6 reps are fucking hard, but that's where progressive overload comes in, and the idea is to make your top set your back off set. So the back off set is in a lighter load of weight, not too light so again that we're pissing through it, but we're talking 10 to 20 kilos lighter, possibly less, in order to achieve more reps, and sort of picture it as the pump work sort of thing, or the more bodybuilding approach, and the top set as more powerlifting approach. So essentially from this over a long period of time, you're more likely to see gains in strength and size as well, if you are consistent in applying progressive overload on top of this, yeah? So that sort of like covers it for how much sets and reps, which leads me to the next question, which ties in very closely, which would be rest between sets. Now, it's important to understand, we've covered that when we are in a state of rest, that's when the growing takes place, that's when the muscle building takes place and stuff like that briefly, when we're sleeping and stuff like that, and rest days. But when we're in a session, we're there to work, and I need you to be giving 110% on those sets. I don't want you coming out of that session saying, I could have gave 2 more reps and I had more, I wish I did 1 more rep. We don't want none of that shit. We need intensity sky high. So rest between sets, you take as long as you need. Honestly, you want to take as long as you need. If you need 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, take it. As long as you can promise me and almost say to me whilst you're listening to this podcast, Josh, I can give you 100% on that next set, and I have left nothing. I emptied that tank. That's what I want. I want high intensity and nothing left. Absolutely empty it. That being said, you can sort of over-rest and sort of not pre-fatigue, but almost post-fatigue, if that makes sense, and almost lose pump, lose connection with the muscle, and performance is likely to deteriorate. So when I say take as long as you need, I don't mean say take 10 minutes and start scrolling through Instagram. We want to be optimal, we still want to be keeping his heart rate up, we still want to be getting on with the work. So usually, when it comes to deadlifts, they're very, very taxing on my body. As much as I love them, they are beginning to be very, very taxing on my body. But that sort of gap in between my prep sets and warm-up sets, leading up to my top sets, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that preparation for the top set and that gap between the top and back off can be up to 5 minutes at a time. But that's optimal for me because I know how my body works, and I know that I can perform perfectly after that, and optimally, so that the next session comes around, I can add more reps onto that and be progressive within my training. So just remember, rest and recovery, you take as long as you need, but don't take the piss and be overloading it. Just say to me and do, when you're on your sessions, you can beat that logbook and you're going to get 1 more rep. Next section, so we're wrapping these up fairly quickly. We're going on to exercise selection now. So again, the term, we're going to start off with individuality. Exercise selection understands you as a person, so understand which works for you. Deadlifts, again, they work really well for me. A lot of pulling motions, whereas I'm not too strong pressing, so and bench press as well. I'm not too strong on bench, therefore I switch to inclined dumbbells. You listening to this may be the opposite. You may be able to bang out 3 plates for reps. I am nowhere near close to that, but then I may be stronger than you on dumbbells. So individuality is a very key aspect in terms of this exercise selection. If you are working with a coach, usually that first week is like data collection. They're finding out as much as you as possible. That's definitely what I take with my clients and PT as well. I need to find out about as much as you as possible. So exercise selection is very, very important. Make sure you find out which, so say take a bench press and incline dumbbell press, in which do you feel your chest contract and connect more? and that sort of gives you the answers to which movement you should be more dominant in. Then from there you focus on that one and apply the other one and eventually strengthen that up so you're maximising both movements. So yeah, just listen to your body, know what works for you. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't just think, right, I want a deadlift. You can learn to do it and it'll take time, but it will happen. The last topic I want to sort of talk about is making it work. So we've gone through stress reduction, how much sets and reps, rest between sets, exercise selection. So now it's a case of putting them all together, so making it work. We just need to be basically putting it all together. You want to be coming in sessions, you want to be utilising all the tools you can get. Logbooks, sleep apps, before and after photos, weight tracking, macro tracking, absolutely everything. I don't want it to take over your life. Obviously, you, despite me being into this industry myself and it completely taking over my mind, I am aware that obviously there's general people that just work standard 9 to 5 jobs and the gym is just a little outlet for them. It's not their life sort of thing. But that doesn't mean that you should be losing out on progress just because you're not in this industry as much as other athletes are. You should still be maximising every tool possible. That's why I recommend listening to these podcasts and watching YouTube videos, because it's such a huge opportunity to be learning from, and it almost baffles me, like, if you're given an opportunity to learn, why wouldn't an individual take it? It's like almost being given, especially if you're a business person, a like-minded entrepreneur, you're almost being given an opportunity to create more money, to create more success, and forward market that into your business. So make sure you're utilising those tools and that you're really just being on top of your fitness game. So progressing lifts every time, don't just be breezing through it. Make sure you walk out that gym mentally almost crawling. You want to be like, I did that set then. That set was mine. I was on top of that. It was my set, yeah? You sleep again, you want to be getting that 8 to 10 hours. On rest days, I'll prioritise sleep over everything. Now, obviously with my job, I do wake up late a lot. No, sorry, I wake up early a lot. My job's very demanding with the early hours and stuff like that. But I do have set days where I don't start well later in the day. So you can bet I am not waking up if I don't have to wake up. I am maximising that sleep. And my training on less sleep days versus more sleep days, I'll let you do the maths. I am way more efficient on the more sleep days. So I'll let you take that from me. Sleep is going to do your training wonders. It's going to help you more mentally upstairs. When I'm more flipped on mentally upstairs, my sessions they're second to none. They're amazing when I'm well rested, well fed and stuff like that. Again, consistency, being consistent with your food, all aspects of training, but food is fuel, without a doubt. You cannot expect to consume and acquire muscle tissue without creating that excess. Same as you cannot expect to reduce body fat percentage without being in that deficit and eating in that sort of goal. So make sure that we're being consistent with us food and nailing that on a day-to-day basis. Don't think if you slacked for a day you're going to lose everything. It's just a case of being back on track, not taking it as a loss, and keeping moving forwards. But yeah, that's sort of like a basic idea of putting it all together. It's just like I say, optimising what you have, looking into new tools, just like I've done, and applying it on a day-to-day basis. From there you just get better and better. You always want to be the best version of you from yesterday. I won't waste time going in more like spiritual stuff, but just basically be the best version of you and the best things will come to you. It's as simple as that. Yeah? So I'm going to wrap it up there today, guys. That actually podcast PB, longest podcast we've done, and I enjoyed that. Like I say, time flies when you're having fun. I love doing these podcasts. Hopefully you enjoyed the topics that I spoke of. Like I say, it's going to be out on all platforms, including YouTube as well. So in the description I will put the time stamps there so you'll know which one to go to, because certain topics will appeal to you, certain topics won't, but that's okay, everybody's different. Next podcast will more than likely be a collaboration, so I hope everybody's excited for that. I've got a special guest joining me, but yeah, talking about some interesting topics, and from there it's just regular stuff. So look forward to more YouTube, improved Instagram content, improved YouTube, just everything's just levelling up this year. It's going to be a good year for you guys as well. I have a lot to give to you, a huge amount of opportunities for you. So like I say, please just let me know what you think, any topics you want me to cover. Mention me in the stories so people can get to know this podcast more. We want the message to spread. So thank you for that, guys. Goodbye.